All right, welcome. Thank you. Just want to first start off because I know we're here to talk a little bit about our seniors. I believe is that correct? Yeah. Um, I'll start with our three that transferred in from the portal because it's unique in its own way that all three of them had a senior night at the institution that they graduated from, that they transferred in from. But just really appreciative of Josie, CC, and Morgan. In the world of the transfer portal now, you're looking for somebody that can come in and hopefully give your program a boost. Not only on the court, but you're trying to make sure that they're going to fit your culture and what you've built and what you've established. And we've been really, really fortunate the past 2 years now that the portal's really, that's kind of the time it's been extremely active to have been able to not only get good players, but good people. All three of these young ladies have been nothing but wonderful. On the basketball court, off the court. Just it's a tribute to their parents and their family and how they've been brought up. But it's been a great year. I wish for all of them that it was more than just 1 year because you're trying to get them accustomed to how we like to try and do things here. I think all three of them have adapted well. But if we could have a second year, I think you'd see even more progress from all of them. But it's been a wonderful stretch, and hopefully there's about another month and a half left of it. Then we'll go with Liz next, because Liz actually was a transfer that came in after her freshman year from Georgia Tech. But what was so neat about it for her is, we anticipated a 3-year career. But then with COVID, they add the extra year. So Liz is more so a traditional 4-year. She's been here for 4. She's played for 4. She just fights. She continues to work. I've been so impressed with her. Every single day she comes in, she does the work. She continues to put the team first. And I can't say, and I don't think Liz would say, that it's just been the easiest for her. She came from a place where she was one of the top scorers. She was one of all freshman team at Tech. And then she comes in here and she's playing alongside of Kylie Shook, Sam Fearing for a year, playing with some other really good players. And that takes a little bit of time to adjust to that. But I think she's done an outstanding job, and really happy for Liz because, she started most of the year for. She started 18 games. And the past 5 or 6, I was like, Liz, I'm going to change up the lineup. I think it'd benefit you if you come off the bench. I thought she played really well last year coming off the bench and being able to see the flow of the game. And the last 6 games, she's really played well, especially our last 4. And that's what we're going to continue to need from her as we move forward. But Liz is a wonderful young lady. She's got a bright future in front of her, not only on the basketball court, but in the business world as well. So it's been an honor to coach her and have her be around here for these 4 years. And then you've got Reek, who took a chance to do something that I'm not sure not many kids would do. And that's coming all the way from Japan, coming to a country that, when you land in Tokyo, when you get off that plane, there's signs in English. There's your rental car, your exit, your bathrooms, everything. But when you do it vice versa, there's not one sign in our Louisville airport in Japanese. So it's sink or swim. And the progress that she has made over 4 years, just in her ability to speak the language, her adapting to a completely different culture has been amazing. And I'm really excited for her because she's, it's been a battle for her, especially with COVID. I mean, COVID threw a loop in it for a lot of people, but for her not being able to go home for such a long stretch because of the quarantines that were put in place, and you couldn't travel. You may have gotten into Japan, but then trying to get back out. So she was just basically stuck here. And I think that really took a toll on her, knowing that she couldn't get home. But overall, she's going to graduate here in May. She'll walk across the stage with a marketing degree. And she's been such a joy to have in this program for 4 years. Reek's special. She's one that I've talked to her about. When she goes back home, she'll probably go and play professionally in Japan. My wife and I and our kids have talked about going over and watching her play when possible, because she's just that type of kid. She's a kid you always want to have a relationship with, because she puts a smile on your face. You just never know what she's going to say. But excited for her, excited that her parents are going to be able to be here also, to watch her for her senior day. And then there's Koss. I mean, there's really, it's hard to put into words what she's meant to our program for 5 years. I wish she could play a 6-year, but she epitomizes, I think, what Louisville women's basketball stands for. She's a hard worker. It's what we built this program on. She's not afraid to compete. She'll get in there, do whatever she has to do. She guards 1 through 5. Don't ever doubt her. Don't say I don't think you can do that, because then she'll prove she can. And what she's meant to our community, what she's meant to this city, her hometown. She's everything you would want a daughter to be. I'm sure she has fun. We're all supposed to have fun in college, but I never hear about it. She's responsible. Everybody that I run into in Louisville, that's the first name that they bring up. God, I just love this kid. She plays so hard. She's got great instincts. She understands the game. So it's going to be a special day. There'll be a lot of tears shed. There's no question. A lot of emotion on Sunday, but hopefully it goes by quick. With having 6 seniors, we're probably just going to start our original 5. Just go with what we've been going with, because unfortunately they won't let me start 6. So I think that's what we're going probably to do, to just keep things simple, because who do you leave out? Who do you not start? But they'll all definitely be the first ones in the game, because I want our fans to be able to give them a great round of ovation. And for us, it's been a long time, but this very well could be a true senior day, to where it's your last home game. I think we'd have to win Thursday, Sunday, then possibly win the ACC tournament to have a chance to host. To order to jump up high enough to be a top 4 seed, I think we'd have to win out from here. And it's possible, but if people are out there and they're thinking, well, I'll wait until they host a tournament to come see her play, see these seniors play, I encourage you to come on Thursday or Sunday. I hope we win all. I think 5 or 6 it could be. It'd probably be, if we win these next 2, it'd probably be 5, because I think we would be most likely a 4 seed in the tournament, so we'd get a double bye. So we'd play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But I hope we can get 13 or 14,000 and have this be the biggest crowd that we've had. It should be a great ball game. These next 2 games are going to be great. So I mean, that in a nutshell, it's a wonderful group, a great group of 6 that will be missed for sure.
As far as the week is concerned, like you said, if you win, you can, you kind of control your own destiny. And it's been a little bit of an up and down season, but to have the final week to where you're at home and you control your own destiny, it's all you can ask for, isn't it?
No, it's great. I mean, the opportunities. I was driving in this morning. I like, I'll listen to our 93.9 Cards radio, and a Blake and Banker. I think he's been to one game. And you can put that in writing. I'm giving him grief here. He's like, it's not been a year that we're used to. So I text him and I called Drew and I called in. I'm like, I know. I mean, we're 20-9 and my wife makes me eat outside. I can't even come in the house for dinner. It's been such a terrible year. My kids are embarrassed to go to school. I mean, it's awful. We've gotten to a point, of course. Do I wish we were 25-4? Of course. But I'm not going to sit here and say it's been a bad year at 20-9 with 2 games left here at home to play. We've lost 2 in overtime. We've had games where we've been right there. We're down 3 at Duke with 40 seconds to go. We lose in overtime at Notre Dame. Virginia Tech, it's a 2-point. I mean, there's several games that can go either way. It's just, I'm hoping we can put it all together here for this last month and a half, because we're close. We're really close. But a lot of it's going to come down to 50-50 balls, is what I like to call them, in toughness. At Notre Dame, I think we held them. They missed their last 3 first shots. But the problem was they got offensive boards, and then there was a 50-50 ball underneath the basket that they came up with. Those are the things that we've got to get, that we've been known to get those. Those are the stops that we've gotten. And we're close. We're really, really close, because if we can start to do that, then all of a sudden a few of these losses turn into wins. The NC State game, I've said it since my entire career as a head coach. If I'm going to lose, I want to lose because we missed shots. Well, we went 1 for 16, so that came to fruition. But our other ones, we control some of it. So I'm hoping that this week, and then we go to the ACC tournament, then the NCAA tournament, that you see everything really come together, because we have had some really good moments throughout this year.
Jeff, when you look at the ACC, I mean, I think the latest bracketology had 9 ACC teams in the NCAA tournament. There's 4 or 5 that's ranked right now in the AP Top 25. We've talked about, obviously, how just competitive the league is this year. What is different, or what is causing that just competitiveness and that intensity this season?
Well, everybody has gotten better. I think everybody's doing a great job. We have great coaches in this league. The players have improved, and that's really what it comes down to. I mean, it's been a long time. I think it's 9 years in the league now. How long's it been? 9? It's our 9th year in the league, and I can't remember the last time that it came down to the last week where there's 5 or 6 teams that could literally win the league. I mean, I don't expect it, but if Notre Dame and Duke would lose both, if we win both, if Virginia Tech loses one of them, I mean, you could have a 5-way tie for first place. I mean, I don't remember a year where you could even say that could happen. So from top to bottom, it's as competitive as we've had. Now, I go back and I say it all the time. Everybody's like, Boston College, I can't believe that was such a close game. You were down. Go back and look at the last 6 games that we played at Boston College. They're all a rock fight. It's Pittsburgh, too. Like, I don't care where people are. Like, look at the scores. Look at the game. Sometimes, I feel for Joanna at Boston College. She's had, they beat NC State. They beat Florida State. And then you've got 6 or 7 games where it's like comes down to the last 5 minutes, and they come out on the bad side of it. So you can't take anything for granted. And I'm just really been impressed with the league. And because there's a really good chance that we will get 9 in, it's also going to impact seeding. Like we could be a possible 5 seed that gets shifted to a 6 just because you're not, they try not to have 2 teams from the same league play each other the first weekend. So, right now, if you look at the bracketology stuff, which I mean, there's a lot to be done before that comes out. But if you've got 3 ACC schools as a 3 seed, well, now you're only going to have one that could be a 6 seed because it's got to go to the place where there's not an ACC school. So people could change from a 6 to a 7 or a 6 to a 5. So a lot of the seeding can shift one line depending on where they're trying to send you. But we aren't, we have not even talked about any of that because we know what's in front of us, and it's a great week of basketball. Miami's a great basketball team who has great size, scores the basketball, they defend. And obviously, I mean, that was a tough loss that we took to them last year in the ACC tournament. So I expect 2 really, really good basketball games.
Jeff, you kind of mentioned that you guys are used to hosting this time of year and the higher seating and such. But going into this time of year, do you embrace, I don't know, for lack of a better phrase, maybe being a little bit more under the radar than you're used to in terms of rankings and such?
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't worry about it really much of that. I mean, as you go through the year, even if last year's team, I said it, the last 3 weeks, the last month and a half of the season, that I thought we were good enough to make it to a Final Four or get beat in the second round of the tournament. And everybody's like, oh, there's no way. I think we were down 3 or 4 to Gonzaga in the third quarter. I mean, it was realistically, it could have happened. But we were also good enough to make a Final Four, which we did. With this year's team, when we play our best, we are pretty darn good. We just need to put longer stretches of that together. And then we've got to limit our bad stretches. That's really where our problems have come. Even at Boston College, I mean, we're up 6 at half, and we let them go on an 11-0 run in about 2 minutes. Like, we don't even make it go for 5 minutes. So that's what we have to really work on. When we turn it over, the next time down the floor, we got to get a shot. And that's been a little bit of our Achilles heel. We're averaging 14, 15 turnovers, or it might be more than that. We're at 16 turnovers a game, but the problem is we'll have 5 in a 7 possession stretch. And what happens is we're up 12 at Wake Forest, and then all of a sudden we're down 2 just because it's such a high volume of turnovers so quick. That's what we have to stop. If we turn it over 12, 13 times a game, I'm fine with that because we're trying to play fast. We just can't have 5 of them in a row. That's where we're really working to try to address and make sure we show our players on film, like, hey, here's where we are struggling. We get up 10, we get up 12. Then we have mass turnovers, or we don't box out, which is what took place at Boston College. We get up 10, we make a miss, they get no board, they kick out for a 3, and they make it. And then all of a sudden it's to 7, and then all of a sudden the same thing happens the next possession, and it's down to 5. Where if we just get a rebound, even if we don't score, it stays at 10. So just possession by possession are the things that we're really trying to crack down on.
Jeff, you're saying goodbye to 6 seniors. None of them came here in the same class out of high school. Is it a much greater challenge now to piece together teams when you've got so many moving parts, or is it just kind of different?
It's just different. You just have to pivot. It's changed. Recruiting has changed. College athletics has changed. But no, I mean, you're looking for great players. They're all really good players, but more importantly, you're looking for good people. The last thing you want to do is bring in someone who can play, and they're a problem. Because then it can kill a culture. It can wipe out what you've tried to build for us here for 16 years. And it can be 1 or 2 kids, and boy, you're back at square one. So have we embraced the portal? Yes. Have we done well in the portal? Yes. And have the kids that have transferred in here done well? Yes. So are we going to stop looking into the portal? No. So you just have to pivot and figure out how's the recruiting going to be, because you just, I said it the other day, it's a shame in a way, because like I can remember growing up and you had, you went out in the driveway, you may have been Jeff Hall or you may have been Kyle Macy, because those guys, you got to know them over the 4 years. Where now, you go out in the driveway, your kid's out there playing, and you're this kid, and all of a sudden the following year, like, where are they? Oh, they're gone. Forget the following year at Christmas. You're like, oh, they're gone. And it happens all the time. So it's harder, I think, in a little bit of way, to grow and to continue to grow a fan base, because they're not, I think fans like to attach, like, okay, this is the kid I'm cheering for, and now sometimes they have no idea who's coming back. But that's it's part of it now, so it's, you accept it, you move forward, and then we're just going to have to continue to piece things together.
And playing off of that, how much of a challenge, hopefully you'll be playing with this team for a month and a half, but
Yes.
you also have 6 holes to fill, and you still have 6 spots that are open moving forward to next year. How much of a challenge is it to kind of right now for you guys? Because I know there are people say things, but the portal, you don't know who's in the portal yet, and things happen all the time. How much of a challenge is it for you to try to think about next year?
I don't even really worry about it too much. I mean, we definitely have holes to, some spots to fill, but I'm really trying to get this thing to where we have 12 or 13 on scholarship. It's 15's too many, in my opinion. Now for us, we've had some kids have injured. We're redshirt. Like Jalen Brown and Zion Walker will not play the rest of the year. Z's got a little bit of a groin issue. I can't even tell you the terminology of it, but she's recovering, returning, and because of the number of games she's played, she'll get a red shirt year. Jalen Brown the same way. We're going to apply for a red shirt year for her. Amani is just, she's one that, she's been going through some health things that she has that, we're trying to see what she's going to be able to do. Great kid. It's nothing life-threatening or anything like that, but it might stop her from playing. So, because of the fact that we're really down to 10 or 11, it's not all that bad. But when you get to 14 and 15 and you're trying to play them all, you can't. It's people are going to transfer a lot quicker now if you have 15 players on a roster. Because the days of, I'm going to wait till, I'm going to put my time in. My freshman year, I might come here, I might play 10, 12 minutes. My sophomore year, boom, it adds up. It's harder to convince kids to do that. And I think that's why the portal is what it is. Now, I still say this, Jody. I think the portal is going to really calm down here. And I think, is this the last year or next year? Next year is the last year of the COVID kids. So once you get to the point where I can't play 4 years as an institution, and then I graduate, then I still got a year left, you're not going to see as many transfers. I mean, I told y'all, I told Koss, she graduated last year. And she said she wanted to play next year, and I'm like, hey, if you want to look someplace else, I'll help you. I don't want you to, but I respect it. You did exactly what we asked you to do. You came to college, you graduated. At the end of the day, that's our jobs. Sure, they expect us to win games, but it's graduating players. And once she did that, I was like, hey, you get an extra year. You can go, everybody will take you. But she decided that she wanted to stay, which I'm grateful for. But once that's finished, where you don't get that free year, I don't think you're going to see as many kids in the portal. But it's just, if I'm one of those and I've played 4 years, if I could look to go someplace else and possibly get a master's degree, I'd do it.
With the standings kind of in the air and senior week or senior day and so much that comes with this week, how do you not let the emotions maybe get the best of your team in this final stretch?
Well, we're not. It's we've got too many kids that have experience. All of them, obviously the three that transferred in have had their senior day. They've had that emotion of, for Morgan Jones, she was at Florida State for 4 years. So she had all that. This is more for her a celebration. For Koss, with all the winning that we've done since she's been here, sure, it's going to be an emotional day. We text some last night, and she's been great. I can't believe it's the last week of the season, thank you for everything. And, and I'm the type, I'm like, God, believe me, I've been waiting for this week. I'm glad you're gone. You've been a pain in my ass for 5 years now. No, but it's not like it's the last game. We're going to be in the ACC tournament, NCAA tournament. But, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping our fans come out and just show the appreciation for all these kids. Because it's been for the three that have been here for 4 or 5 years, it's been a heck of a run. I mean, I talked to Koss. I think, we've lost 9 games this year, and I think that's close to what we've lost the past 3 years combined. But it's been great. It's been a great experience. It's been a great run.
There's always the acclimation period of high school to college, but for someone like Norika who's having to, make that adjustment as well as a new culture, a new country, how much of that is a testament to just her, and how would you just describe the way she has been able to transition?
She's been amazing. I mean, she really has. I go back and I can't say the word here on air, but I can remember when my wife and we picked her up at the airport, and my daughters were in the car. So that's 4 years ago. So they would have been 3 and 5 at the time. And she said that she had a friend that was a trainer out on the East Coast at a smaller school that told her that she needed to learn the Urban Dictionary because it was really going to help her with the slang. Because that's part of the problem. I mean, like, we speak in so much slang that, like, she was lost. She's like, what are they saying? Like, what's that mean? And I'll never forget, they had a word of the day. Okay? So Reek's in the car, and we're driving. We had stopped at my house, and we got a little bite to eat. And then I'm taking her to the dorm, and she's sitting in the front seat. And my wife and my 2 girls are in the back of the truck, sitting there on the back seat. And Reek goes, Coach, what does F-U Friday mean? But she didn't say F-U because she didn't know it. So she came out and just flat out said it. And my wife and I both laughed. And Lauren kind of leaned up and said, I think you just want to, I don't think you're going to need to know that one. But you can ask your teammates. Because, it was comical. But that's who she was. And that's who she still is. She's great. I've told her, it's been an honor to coach her. It's been an honor to watch her grow as a person because she's had some struggles. But she fights, man. She fights. She wants to be great. And, she's got a wonderful support at home. Her parents can continue to challenge her. But what she's been able to do and just graduate in 4 years, her freshman year, I can remember sitting there talking about her studies. And she would read a paragraph in English and then take that, translate it into Japanese to make sure she was getting the correct interpretation from it. So she's reading everything twice. So imagine trying to study in college and you had to read everything twice. The amount of time that took her. But then she's in the gym at 6:30 in the morning. Her work ethic is off the charts. Her attention to detail is fantastic. The one thing I'm proud of her for this year, the one thing Reek would always do, and I told her the one thing she's gotten a lot better at was everything was either great or terrible. There was never an in-between. How's your class? I'm going to fail. And then she'd get a B. I'm like, and I used to laugh at her because she'd talk about her exams and tests, and I failed that test. I did bad. And she'd get like a C or a B. And I used to always tell her, I go, you're the kid I hated. Because when I walked out of class and said I failed, It wasn't I got the B. There's that kid that always killed your curve. Oh, yeah, I didn't do very well. It's like a 98 out of 100, and I'm the one with the 60. And I'm like, I needed the 20-point curve. But that was Rick. It was always, so now she's stabled out. She's like, okay, I'm not going to get too high or too low. When good things happen, I'm going to celebrate. But if there's a struggle, I know I'm going to be able to get it to where I want it to be. And I think that's how she's handled this semester. Because the start of this semester, I think the weight of all the class load that she had going to graduate really was putting a lot on her shoulders. But she's in a great place right now, and I'm just really, really happy for her. She's marketing.
Jeff, someone I noticed recently was, I think Lamont put out like a thread of plays of Mikasa, like trying to make a case for her for ACC Defensive Player of the Year, and it's something she said she has personally wanted. How badly do you guys want something like that for her in her last season to get that kind of recognition or accolade?
Well, I have not nominated her for Defensive Player of the Year. For our team, there's no question she's the most impactful on the defensive end. And I think she has a lot of respect from a lot of coaches in our league for how hard she plays and how hard she competes. And, I don't know if she'll get it because a lot of times it's harder for a guard to be Defensive Player of the Year because, you're not getting the block shots and things like that. But guarding 1 through 5 and her instincts on the defensive end of the floor, I'd put her up against anybody in our league. There's no question. She's got to be on the all-defensive team. But I do truly believe that she has a shot at being Defensive Player of the Year. Because when you look at her stats, it's not like, she's sitting here and she's got 50 steals on the season. It's not like she's got 100. That year that I had Angel, that she led the league in steals. She was like 3 a game. So Kaz isn't necessarily doing that, but it's everything else she does. She guards her man and everyone else's. If there's a loose ball, she comes up with it. That play in the Boston College game where she contested the 3, flew out, contested the 3, we're up 6 with that 2.5 to go, contests the shot, flies by, puts the brakes on, sprints back, and gets the rebound between 3 Boston College players. It's effort. It's will. You don't teach that. You either have that or you don't, and she does. So I'm pushing for her. I'm going to do what I can do behind the scenes, but I'd love to see her, not only be on the all defensive team, but be right up there for Defensive Player of the Year. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. No, appreciate all.